Welcome back to Ms. Frey's channel. In this video we're going to look at an example question for a market shortage. So this relates to page 125 in your Learning Workbook if you would like to follow along to ensure you're getting the correct answer. So the graph that we can see on this page is for the market of chicken wraps. So we have our market demand curve and our market supply curve. In this case, we have already been given the curves, and the questions that we now are going to answer is number 1, showing the price of $3. Number 2, showing the new quantities, which will be quantity demanded and the quantity supplied, and then clearly labeling the excess supply or surplus. So remember that in a market, when it is not at equilibrium, we are either going to have a surplus or a shortage. So if we were to start at the top, we've got number 1. We are going to draw our dotted line across at the $3 mark. We label this P1. We then go and do our new quantities. So number 2 asks us to use dotted lines to identify the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied. So we go across at our price level, our new price level at $3. Where it hits the supply curve, we go down and we label that QS1. Or in this case, just QS, because we haven't actually moved it from anywhere. We then continue along our dotted line. Where it hits the demand curve, we do our dotted lines down, and this is our new quantity demanded. Number 3, the question asks us to clearly label excess supply or surplus. So because the demand is higher than the supply, so our demand is at 175,000 approximately, and our supply is only at probably about 70. I've drawn my line a bit too far across there. So we can say that our demand is now greater than our supply. So we've got a shortage in the market. So the way that you need to identify your shortage is either doing an arrow or a symbol like I have on the graph between the 2 points, and then writing the word shortage or excess supply. They both mean the same thing. Number 4 of this question asks us to explain how market forces will return the market to equilibrium using the template above to answer. So that refers back to your book on page 125. Number 3E gives you a template to fill in the words. So we're going to use that same template but just input the correct information from this graph. So in this case, we would start off by saying, as a result of the price being set at $3, because that is the price that was given to us in the question, the amount that the producers will supply is 70,000 chicken wraps. Now that is an approximate number because the dot that is on the graph isn't quite on the line by 75,000. If you want to have a look at the graph there, it's just before it. So we're just estimating that it would be about 70,000. While the amount that consumers will demand is 175,000. So we can see that through looking at our demand curve, where it intersects at the price point of $3. As a result, a situation of excess demand or shortage of 105,000 chicken wraps will result. So because our demand is at 175, but the producers or the firm only has 70,000, we've got an over demand of 105,000. So in response, consumers will bid up the price of chicken wraps. Now what that means is that because there is a shortage, some consumers are going to be able and willing to purchase the chicken wrap at a higher price. So they might say, actually, I'm willing to pay $3.50. Someone else might say, I'm willing to pay $3.70, etc., etc. So when that happens, it just means that some consumers are going to give up on buying their chicken wraps because some people are willing and able to pay a higher price. So this will cause the amount supplied to increase because producers now can supply more chicken wraps, and they want to supply more because they're making more profit, while the amount demanded will fall. This will continue until the equilibrium price is reached, where the amount supplied equals the amount demanded. This will occur at the price of $5 and the quantity of 125,000 chicken wraps. So if you go back and look at your graph, I'll just go back to our previous slide so you can see it. The equilibrium point, the middle dot, our equilibrium price is at $5 and our equilibrium quantity is at 125,000. So all this question is asking us is to first identify whether it is a shortage or a surplus, and in this case we've got a shortage, and then how would we return to equilibrium. And the way that we do that is consumers will always bid up the price if there is a shortage. Producers will always produce more as the price increases, and this will continue until they're both happy and there is an equilibrium. So give it a go in your learning workbooks, page 125 to 126, and then there is another question there for you to practice as well. Hope that helped, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you. Bye.